Hey, I'm ElusiveKev. Welcome back to MotoGP 20 and the Cathedral, the classic TT circuit. Assen has, after surviving the Saxon Ring, been for an easier time round this circuit. It's normally one that's a bit kinder to us than the Saxon Ring as well. But in practice, we're not as far ahead as we normally are. And we kind of struggled a bit with the practice programs as well. So we're only 3 tenths ahead of Suzuki, but still at the top. And we've got Vietti in third, then Mazia, Antonelli, Alonso Lopez, Fogger, Fanati, Alcoba, and Sasaki round out the top 10 over Tatai, Arenas, Agura, and Barry in 14th. As we got Pizzoli in last. So for qualifying, we have got Yamanaka, Fernandez, Salek, and Mino joining us. All the Italian have to go through qualifying one for once. As it's a bit overcast for qualifying compared to practice as well. We had size clear blue skies, so let's see what we can do. As we lose in practice, at least we lose a bit in the first and third sectors, pretty even in the second and last sector. Just depends what power we're on. Well, we're going to be on power 2. There's a little bit wide. We're going to power nice and early though. As we're behind the leopard. Hopefully they don't block us as this lap goes on. Especially in the sector coming. Sector 2 is basically just a couple of corners though. It's just this, right then left. Not as much of a grading into that corner now. It feels like into that right hand. There used to be a nice little bit of camber which would force you towards the apex. Doesn't feel as prominent now. Use of this handing model. And through the double right. Hell on the rear tyre. Struggling for traction. And then the flat out final section before that infamous chicane where we're going to see maybe some ambitious moves. We saw quite a bit of crashing in practice in this final section. Flat out through this left. And for this final corner, braking right around the white line. Having to get it down to first just to get the bike in towards the apex-ish. That's across the line, 44.6. That's more like it. As with our best lap of the weekend by a country mile so far, almost 9 tenths ahead of the Spaniards, Arenas and Tatai filling out this front row. Then we've got an all-Japanese second row, Sasaki, Agura and Yamanaka. And then we've got Alcoba, the Bautis and Fanati. Mazia rounds out the top 10. Second back. Then we've got Foggia, his teammate, and Mino. Then it's Salak, Suzuki and Fernandez. And on the sit row, Antonelli, Lopez and Vietti. So some big names down the order, and from what we've seen in practice, it seems like we're going for softer compounds. So I definitely need a soft front because the bike actually came into the corner. So especially in that last chicane, using the engine braking, really just swing the front round, and we definitely need that. We did not have that with the mediums when we were doing the race sim. And for fuel, we might fill it up a bit. So what's the max? 10. Put it up to 9 because as you see it's pretty flat out around here, and we might be using power 2 quite a bit in the final sector as well. We definitely need it in the first sector to keep up too. So let's see what everyone else is doing. Arenas, good man, and Agura. Soft hard for Bautis. Maybe that will overcome his race pace problems. We've got Foggia, soft hard, soft medium for Mazia. Mostly medium though. It looks like soft medium actually quite popular as well. So Paoli. Medium soft for Cooley, soft hard for Garcia. So yeah, good to see we're actually gone with the pack for once. Medium for Binder in last. So we are revving it up then. Timed it perfectly. Not that long a run to the first corner, so first of 8 laps underway here in Assen. But we lead the way. There's a bit of camber in that first corner as well, which helps you get into that corner. So I'm always feeling like I'm braking early, but the penalty for braking late is going very wide into some tarmac runoff. It's not too bad, but still it costs you quite a bit going wide. As Mazia a superb start to 7 ahead of Vietti. Alcoba ahead of Mino into the top 10. Lopez ahead of Yamanaka, who's dropped down the order. As we've got Fanati behind by almost 4 tenths. So let's see if we can control the race at the front or if we'll be challenged with Antonelli into the point at about us. The feed down in 24th. Don't expect to see the veteran squat down there. To suck up to 13 Fernandez, to Babautas down to 18th. It's happening again for the Belgium. Let's tube up to 16th ahead of Garcia. As we lose a bit here. There's Binder from last up to 25th ahead of Paoli. The Guru into the top 10. Antonelli busy on this opening lap. Have we done a Fanati right in our slipstream? 4 tenths. That's good. Somehow gained in the third sector. Just got to be confident around most of these corners. Especially the fat out fast ones. We did have a bit of an issue in the last chicane as well with track limits. For some reason if you hit the right hand curb, pretty susceptible. Give you a track limit warning. Left hand not so much. So we've got to watch out for that in this race. It's Binder into the top 20 already at about us. What a cracking opening lap from the South African. It sounds like Fanati's right in our tail. Fortunately, we can back them up a bit in that left-hander. So we can get a much better getaway down this back stretch. As Fogger now 4 tenths behind us. We've got a couple of Italians on our tail. Fogger Newton bounce back after a couple of wretched races in Barcelona. And last time out in the Saxon Ring. So it actually seems like the second and third sets are reversing in the race. Second set are just about keeping up or losing a bit. Third set two seem to be gaining. Tata in 28th. What are you doing down there, man? Rodrigo got the 23rd out of Paoli. McPhee can 4 point in 16th now. That's much better from the Scot. Bouter's batting and being in the top 25 already. Maybe that hard rear not working out for him in his early couple of laps. Let's Fogger on our tail. Might be in diving range heading towards the final corner. See many a move there in that final corner. Marcus Rossi, Hayden Edwards for the 2006 victory. Not at the moment. Mino with 45.9 fastest lap. As he's now sliding into the top 10 after being a bit of a poor start. Seems like the Italians recovered. Bouter's almost last. He is last actually behind Pizzoli. Tyler definitely not working out for him at the moment. No! Told you. Curves round it. Bloody annoying. So you've got Suzuki up to second, Eldor Foggia. Mazzi up to 5th. At the Vietti, we've got a 6-tenth gap behind. So he might have caught out Foggia actually with our shocking corner there. And so always wide through the left as Foggia back up to second ahead of Suzuki. As Fernandez up to 11th ahead of Gu, another rider who's looking to bounce back after a couple of wretched weekends. He always has good one lap pace as the KTM rider, but the races, the last couple, have not gone well, just like Foggia. It's on this third lap, it's comfortable enough. Well, we don't exactly have the pace to put away, but they're fighting behind. You've got the pace to maintain the distance. There's Tuba batting for his fellow Japanese rider for 13th. Someone's going to get more time penalties. There's Agura dropping out the top 10 of his fabulous qualifying. 45.6, fastest lap. That's a 45.7, same for Antonelli. That's the good thing. We're all kind of similar on pace. There's Pizzoli and Bowters having a titanic battle for last. You also notice in the first half of this race, we're not really using fuel as well. We've got plenty in reserve for the second half, in case it gets a bit feisty. Once again, massively wide on that left. Can't get the bike in towards the apex there. Let's go towards these tricky corners where the tyres are literally crying for help in this sector. Let's go through the double right. Doesn't sound like Fogger's close enough to have a run for this flat section. And this, I've got 5.5 laps in reserve fuel rise with 4 laps to go. As Anthony ahead of Italian Mino for 7th. And the gap by half a second basically. As you probably saw there, I turned in early, I had to put a bit of throttle on, otherwise we're hitting that inside curb. There's another fast lap, 45 we found our groove. As Messi rounds out the 5. I mean, it's the top 10 as looks like you break around the 50 for that first corner. So if you're slightly late, that's what happens. Just go massively wide. Amazes me that second right now is virtually flat out. Can be flat out if you want to, but for the line into the next left-hand hairpin, it's better not to be. As 1.2 ahead of Fogger heading into the second half of this race. Seems like we might actually have the pace on the field. There we go, we've actually hit the apex for that corner for once. And it seems like the first sector are actually pulling away, so it's actually the reverse of what we saw in qualifying practice, where first and third sectors seem to be our sectors now. Second and fourth on the back foot a bit. Going to his final sector, big crowd here once again, the Netherlands. That's what's the gap, 1.1. So yeah, we barely lose anything in that third sector. As I say, we seem to at least be matching now. It's 45-1. We're getting towards the 44s as you've got Fogger, Suzuki, Fenati. Nadia behind. Arenas rounds out the top 10. Just behind fellow Spaniard Lopez. Anthony in 8th. Seems like his march up the order has stalled once again in the second half of the top 10. What a disappointing season. Nicolo. So you know, flat out. Feel that right? Go and see we're kind of ending, bouncing on the front end into the next hairpin though. So all the time we gain going flat out through that right, we kind of lose into hairpin with the left. So we're now 1.5 seconds ahead of Fogger. See how much easier the race is when you get a good start. So I'm battling with Gossi just outside the points for those two. Now it's McPhee into the points now ahead of Alcoba. Currently back for 23rd. As Alcoba fights back. Or not. Oh yeah. Or not. Oh yeah. Make up your mind, you two. There's McPhee back. What is going on with the overtakes? Oh, they're literally neck and neck there for 15th. It's powered up to 22nd of the Binder. See, he gained almost a couple of tenths in that third sector. You see, front lifts a bit. Final chicane, but mid 44. Goodbye and good luck, I think that is. Or good night and good luck. Can't even get my references right now. Sasaki up to 21st at a Binder. Bit wide, but as long as you got the power early, it's not too bad. Tyre not really an issue around here either, as gap 2 seconds now to Foggia. So the pressure they exert in the first half of the race is not there to see in the second. Just found our groove as Stone. And he's pulling away once again in a race. That's our Cobra dropping away from the points. Arbolona up to 16th. So I guess McPhee's got the final point at the moment. So on the power, you can see much tighter line, it says, the track to date there. The grooves of the rubber, the track surface. Doesn't seem like we have to worry about that 2-tenth penalty as well. There's a gap now 2.2. As we approach the final lap here in Assen. Looks like it's been another Stone masterclass. We're still in the 44s. Got Foggia ahead of Suzuki, Fanati, Mazia. Lopez rounds out the top 10 now as Anthony's actually dropped down to 9th too by Mino. Looks like Vietti once again strong late in the race as well. Working its way towards the top 5. As Paoli in 23rd, battling with the Italian once again, as the rookie wins out for the time being. So we didn't even need all that extra fuel. It's 2.6 the gap. Cruising range from now on. You can use so much curve through that right-hander as well. If you're turning in slightly early, you can use that and bounce to the curb on the outside as well. Like, it doesn't affect you too much. Curbs actually are quite helpful. And see, we're avoiding them, but if you're turning in slightly earlier, or you're late, just use the engine brake and use the curb to kind of rotate the bike as well. Can really help. That's a gap almost 3 seconds as it goes massively wide. Doesn't matter though. There's just one corner to go. All the way down to first. There's Tuba up to 12th. Elugura. But for Stone, it's another victory. So Stone wins. He only run into the 44. As he's around 2 seconds ahead of Suzuki. He's just half a second ahead of Foggia, and Fanati just the 10th off the podium in the end. Then we've got Mazia, Vietti, Mino, Antonelli, Lopez, Arenas round out the top 10, and then we've got Fernandez, Tuba, Gura, Yamanaka, and McPhee, who's around a second ahead of Arbolona in the end. Rodrigo rounds out the top 20, Pizzoli in last, Baltas, and Tatai as well. What are you doing down there? As in the Riders' Championship, Stone leads by 80 points as we approach halfway mark of the season. Suzuki back up to second ahead of Mazia by just 3 points. Foggia back up to 4th ahead of Antonelli by 5 points. And then we have Fanati just a point off the top 5. A bit of a gap to Vietti, Mino, Lopez, Arenas rounds out the top 10. McPhee up to 14th ahead of Garcia. Fernandez up to 16th with a decent race for once ahead of Tuba. There's no other changes. We're on the team's championship. Leopard lead by just 2 points ahead of Sync 58 with GoPro Honda team still within touching distance in 3rd despite only having 1 rider. And then we've got Max Racing in 4th, VR46 in 5th, and a huge gap to Estrella Galizia and Ganietto. KTM back up to 8th ahead of Snipers. And then we've got Petronas Spear to round out the top 10.
This victory is the cherry on top of an exhausting weekend. If his team keeps working like this, it will be really difficult for his opponents to overtake him.
So we look at our rewards then. So first up, reputation. Pretty normal, isn't it? As, yep, secure. Definitely is secure. As then we got the credits from the race. And then research day is a bit different. Like, distance and race sim as normal. Quick lap we only passed. We only did the first one. He didn't do the quickest time, which was a low 44. Found it a bit more difficult to do. Kind of the research data around Assen, as it looks like quite a lot of research data into the edge. There's still loads for the frame. As personal manager. This is contract proposals. Look at all this Moto2 opening up. It's got quite a lot of midfields. Teams interested. What does that mean? Search a team or teams who are interested in trying to start a negotiation. Personal manager will do his best to bring you enough to sign on. Teams interested depends on your personal manager's ability, convince them, and on your reputation as a rider. So you might have to change personal manager for the end of the season. Have one that's better at negotiating. You'll attract the attention of the most important teams while improving results on the track. Still no MotoGP teams interested. As also someone said the GoPro Honda 2. Yep, the GoPro team, Moto2 team is interested as well. So we could still continue with GoPro then. As, what's that, my contract, so team performance, nowhere near max. So if you've forgotten, there's our reputation, way above dismissal. Thank God for that. Goal is top 10 in races, top 5 in the championship, 3rd row in qualification. And we get a hefty championship bonus. Termination clause is quite a lot. But we definitely won't be doing that yet. So for engine, no development. Because now that is developed. The exhaust manifolds to facilitate medium speeds has been elongated. So now optimization of exhaust fuel dynamics. Optimization of gasoline consumption. Or we can do the nodes, improvement of engine intake and exhaust capacity. So that helps low and medium speeds. So that could be handy around like the Kimi ring, which is like it's pretty tricky. So we do this node first of all. So that'll be 4 weeks. Can we develop this as well? Or is it best just to keep it? It's probably best just to keep it as it is. So we've got 6 staff on that. And then we've got a couple with the development as well. So next up then, as we advance the week, will be a visit to Finland, the Grand Prix of Finland for the first time in many, many years for the motorbikes. As technical stuff, we've got a new candidate for data analysis, Gabriel Collis. You're good for next season, not this season. And then personal manager candidate as well. Okay, we might change then. Ming So Choice, should I say. Manager of several rides with the minor classes, specialise in getting good salary offers. But negotiation is the same. If we're looking for negotiation, Hamid Majard is pretty good. For bonuses and salary rates. Well, she is definitely an upgrade on our current manager, but we're not really using our personal manager at the moment, are we? So maybe towards the end of the season, then we're, mix up the personal manager. But I hope you enjoyed once again a masterclass from Stone. But it's a new circuit. As I said, from what I've done in practice, it's pretty tricky as well to go around and get into the flow around there as well. So we'll see how Stone does next time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.